By all accounts, Bobby Bostic had a challenging life growing up. Some troubles were caused by circumstances he could not control, but many were created by his own actions and decisions. At the age of 16, those actions led to his conviction for several crimes and a sentence of 241 years in prison. Confronted with a parole date no closer than 112 years, Bobby Bostic now had another decision to make: to continue his self-destructive course, this time in prison, or use that prison time to change himself for the better. Producer Kara Vanninger tells the story of his decision.
Bobby Bostic started writing poetry for the same reason that many teenagers do: to impress a girl. But instead of scribbling out a verse during algebra class or in the privacy of his bedroom, Bobby was composing his poem from a prison cell.
I was 18, I had just been convicted. In my third month in prison, I was trying to hold on to my old girlfriends, and letters was cool, but I started writing, I wanted a poem to go with it.
Bostic had been sentenced to 241 years after being found guilty of multiple crimes, including armed robbery, that he had committed at the age of 16. His first chance at parole would be after serving 112 of those years. With a seemingly dismal future ahead of him, Bostic found solace in reading and unexpected support for his poetry from a surprising source.
I see the running thing about prison is the most violent people in the world, they respect two things: knowledge and violence. I was in the cell with some guys in prison. I was sharing my poetry with them. And they read and they're like, "Man, wow, you got some talent." These guys are never getting out of prison, and we're in the mix of a lot of violence, and they like, "Man, you got a lot of talent." And that was the seed right there. I'm like, maybe I can write some poems.
Bostic went on to win several poetry contests, but tragedy would inspire him to try his hand at a different kind of writing.
My mother, unfortunately, she's 42. She had passed away from cancer. And I was sitting in my cell mourning, in my mourning and grief, I was reading her letters. And while I was reading her letters, I was like, man, I don't want her to be forgotten. So let me write a book. And this is something I had never did. I wrote her life story, and then at the end of the book, it's all her letters to me. So it's in her own words.
As the years passed, Bobby kept writing and was determined to get a college education. To do this, he would have to find an outside source willing to foot the bill for correspondence courses. A shared love of reading connected him to Linda Parkinson.
She ran a little free library in front of her house, and a newspaper did an interview, and she was standing in front of her house with the street name. So I just wrote her about the love of books. She wrote back, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to raise money for college.
With the help of Linda and her husband, Bobby earned his associates, the first of several degrees, while still working on his own writing and fighting his life sentence.
So I'm writing hundreds of letters to courts, to congressmen, to clergy. Anybody in the world will listen.
Bostic also developed a friendship with a man he played chess with through the mail. The man saw potential in his writing, and since Bobby didn't have access to a computer in prison, he would type out his manuscripts for him and send them to publishers. Bostic is now a published author of several books and recently met his chess partner face to face.
And I walked through his house the other day, and this dreams come true, because he had to believe, he a conservative Republican, older white gentleman, retired engineer, and for him to believe in me, and I'm from the city of St. Louis, a street kid, and he believed, and our work got me out. So it was a lot of moving parts in getting me out of prison. It just happened overnight.
In 2021, a bill inspired by Bostic's case was passed, giving anyone who committed a crime other than murder as a minor the possibility of parole after 15 years. Evelyn Baker, the now retired judge who had given Bobby the consecutive sentences, had since come to regret her decision, seeing it as too harsh for one so young. She wanted to help him secure a chance at parole and became his advocate, as well as the first person to greet him when he was released from prison in 2022. After 27 years of being incarcerated, Bostic was eager to share his story with young people, hoping to prevent some from making the same mistakes he had.
Those kids, my message to them is like, just finish high school, man. You can do 4 years in high school, or you can do 40 years in prison, because when you drop out of school, how you gonna survive if you don't have a game plan? You try to sell drugs, whatever you try to do is end up with consequences that can lead to prison, like what happened to me. I went to high school for 2 weeks.
The money Bostic earns from speaking engagements and the sale of his books covers his bills and helps to support a charitable endeavor he began while still in prison with the help of his sister. Remembering their own rough childhood filled with poverty and uncertainty, they started doing Dear Mama giveaways to provide food, toys, and necessities to communities in need all over St. Louis.
I did my first giveaway 10 days after I was out. I've been doing these giveaways for every 2 weeks for 14 months. And when I started the nonprofit, I still didn't have a release date. I had no way of getting out of prison, but the nonprofit was a dream. And to be out here actually living the dream, now I'm actually doing the giveaways. It's something I wrote down in the cell that I wanted to do, but now I'm out here doing it. So it's a dream come true, but look who it's helping though. It's helping hundreds of families, hundreds of people, and that's the beauty of giving back, because you don't know who you can help.
I think Bobby's story is important because I feel like it's almost a reincarnation, right? When you've been incarcerated that long, it's easy to get out into the world and just feel overwhelmed and, down. He has not allowed the past to define where he's going to go with his future. And I think that's a testament to his spirit.
I'm 44, I got a whole life ahead, I got more books to write. This give me the space to write the book. And this residency give me opportunity to reach out to more people, to perfect my art and be in touch with other artists. I can grow, I can get ideas, we can collaborate, network, and being around artists help you blossom. God gave us this gift to see things that other people don't see in song and dance and humanity. All around us we see art, but we see reality too, and we try to combine the two to make life better.